Okay, now as you can see, all my carrots are peeled. I did want to point out this one. So this one here, I went to peel it, and as you can see, it's not peeling nicely. It's coming out really rough and bumpy and kind of just not a great looking carrot. This is a carrot that I would throw out. It's a little too soft, a little bit too past its time, and it should probably not be eaten. These scraps are still good for farm animals like chickens and pigs, but I would not necessarily use them for human consumption. They're also good for your composter if you happen to have one. So the next step in this is we're going to grab our cheese grater and a carrot. I'm going to just give it a little slice to pop off the tip, and we're going to start grating. And so I'm using the largest area of my grater because I don't mind having my carrots in larger chunks in my sauces or in my carrot cake. But if you really need it to disappear, you use the finer side of your grater. Something more like this or this. And really this would be a good option that I would recommend. It just tends to make it a little bit more pureed. So I'm going to use the big side because it's the quickest and I don't mind this stuff. And I'm just going to go ahead and grate up this entire bowl of carrots. So take your time and be safe. And the last little nub here we're just going to get rid of. So I will be back with you once I've grated up my bowl of carrots. Okay, so now I have a giant bowl of grated carrot, and I'm maybe 45 minutes in. And the nice thing about this work is that there's no point where you can't take a break. So if you find this kind of work hard, do it in steps and stages. Wash your carrots and take a break while they dry. Peel your carrots and then walk away and take a break before you shred them. Or if at any point you're getting tired, toss it all in the fridge and just come back when you're ready to face some more. This is about feeding our families, and sometimes it isn't easy. What I have here, this one here is a bowl that I know measures 1 cup. You can use a 1 cup measuring cup, whatever you happen to have, so long as you know the approximate amount. And if by chance you don't have anything that measures, 1 handful cupped, about the size of a softball, half a softball, is 1 cup. So you can always go by that as well. So what I would recommend is freezing them in 1 or 2 cup measures. Personally, I'm going to freeze mine in 1 cup. And that's just because I know that I'm more likely to put this into a sauce than I am into a carrot cake. Carrot cake or carrot muffins tend to take 2 cups, whereas adding it to a sauce, you tend to only use 1 cup. I like to add this particularly to my spaghetti sauce. It makes it a little sweeter, and it cooks right in. My spaghetti sauce cooks for quite a while, mind you, but it cooks right in, so well, my daughter wouldn't care, she loves carrots, but so that if there were kids who did care, you would never find it. This obviously can be added to all kinds of things and would disappear, so anything that you're going to be putting in the crock pot, for example, if you added some of these carrots, they would literally cook right down into it. You'd never see them. If you wanted to add them to, say, a chicken soup and you did want to see them, just add them in the last bit and bring it up to a simmer or a boil, so long as you get above 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Water simmers at approximately 190 Fahrenheit, so long as you're seeing a simmer, you're going to be good. And toss them in, give them a little quick cook, and you're good to go. Now the thing is, we haven't done anything to these carrots other than wash them and shred them. Nutritionally, they are going to be some of our more vulnerable carrots. They're going to have the shortest shelf life. We're going to put these in the freezer and let them freeze. And because they're pre-portioned into 1 or 2 cup amounts, when you take them out and go to cook, if you don't have time to defrost them, you can just add them into what you're cooking and they will defrost themselves and you're good to go. Just, you know, give yourself an extra couple minutes to cook so that you can break them up, but these will defrost quite quickly. These would be best in the freezer for between 3 and 6 months. You could go up to a year and they would still be safe. What happens though is you start to lose a lot of the vitamins and the nutritional value in it. There'd be nothing wrong with eating it past 3 to 6 months. It wouldn't be risky, it wouldn't be unsafe. But I figure vegetables do not taste like French fries. So if I'm going to eat a vegetable, it at least had better do my body some good. That's my opinion though. So I'm just sitting here and I'm going to finish packaging them up. Once they're all packaged up, I'm going to seal these bags and then I'm going to throw them into a larger Ziploc bag because I have one available. If I didn't, I wouldn't do it. And it looks like this last one here is not going to make it up. So what I'm going to do is just take a little and add some to various bags because I don't want to waste any. And it's not enough for me to really justify making up another bag. So we'll just toss everybody a bit more. Now, when I freeze them for best freezer space, I'm going to try and flatten them as much as possible. It means they'll defrost quicker, they'll take up less space in your freezer, and they'll just be more convenient. So I'm going to take it, seal it, but leave the corner open and not sealed. Put it down on my table, squish out as much air as I can, and I'm going to try and squish the carrots into a nice flat stack. So I can stack all of these up one on top of one another and throw them into another bag, and then they will be ready for my freezer and good for not more. And unlike the carrots that we had, they're not going to be good for just another week or two. They're going to be good for me for months. The reality of it is that we're really appreciative and grateful for things like Frugals and Barney's. The access to free, healthy food is an amazing benefit for low-income families who are struggling. But the food isn't like the grocery store. Well, you've seen, if you were one of the recipients this week, you may have been given anywhere up to 48 pounds of carrots. And, well, as a family, you can use 3 pounds of carrots in a week, and maybe even 6 pounds of carrots. 48 pounds of fresh carrots that are already beyond their prime are just not going to last. Now, the reason these guys will probably best be, a little bit past their prime is because they are likely from last year's carrot harvest. There's nothing wrong with them. Like I said, I don't believe there's anything wrong with them. I trust them enough that I fed them to my daughter fresh. But it does mean that we are going to have to do a little work to make them last a little longer. And by doing the work, we'll be able to feed our families for a little bit longer. And that is the goal these days, isn't it? So, I'll take my pile, and you can see just by flattening them out and taking out all the air, what I'm doing is creating a nice compact pile of carrots so that when I put them in my freezer, it doesn't take up a lot of space. And they're really quick and easy to use. Toss this into your casseroles, your sauces, stir fries would be another place if you're making homemade fried rice. And I'm happy to share lots of tips and tricks for how we can take the food that we're given and turn it into things that we'll eat. So, for example, if you enjoyed this one, I can come back with a slightly more difficult video. It would involve the stovetop. We would need to boil some water, but I can teach you how to freeze your carrots in chunks for things like adding into soups or stews if you like chunk carrots, for things like cooked carrots, and just for eating and adding to your recipes. It's not a lot harder than what we've done today. In fact, the first step is to wash and peel your carrots the same way we did today. The only difference is we're going to do something called blanching for 2 minutes, and that's going to help preserve the outside and the surface of the carrot, and it's going to give us a longer shelf life and better nutritional value. It will also cook the outside of the carrot now and give us a better texture. So the reason that we haven't frozen the chunks just like this, and you could cut them up and freeze them in chunks, but the texture would not be as good as if you blanched them. So this way here, because they're tiny pieces and they're going to be soft and mushy in the recipes anyways, we don't have a problem with the fact that they're going to in fact be soft and mushy. In other recipes, you may care about that. So the next video I will do will be on how to freeze slices and chunks to get a longer shelf life and better nutritional value. And if you like this, let me know and I will continue. Thank you.